Hey guys, I'm John, and in this video we're going to find out how ace I think Mortal Kombat is. So guys, in this video I'm going to be talking about what I think of the brand new Mortal Kombat movie. It is a reboot of the franchise based on the video games, and I watched this on streaming last night, and I'm just going to give you guys a rundown of what I think about it. So, it is a reboot. There has been more than one live action. There was a couple back in the 90s, and then there was a TV show called Legacy. There was like a web series. There's been quite a lot of iterations of Mortal Kombat through the years, all based obviously on the video games. And there's also been quite recently an animated feature done. Now, I'm a big fan of what they've done before. Well, I'm a big fan of the original movie and the animated movie. So the original movie, I absolutely love this movie. This is an amazing film. And also the animated one, Scorpion's Revenge. Both are very, very good films for me. Now, the original is a bit cheesy. It is really old. Back when video game movies didn't really have a budget. But I like what they did with it. And for a movie tie-in of a video game, I think the Mortal Kombat film gets a lot right. It sort of gets a lot of what the games are about. It's basically just a tournament that is Earthrealm trying to stop Outworld from taking over everywhere, and they have to go to fight in Mortal Kombat to see who is the best. And I like sort of how it is, because that's basically a game is. The game is just a reason to go in an arena with somebody and beat the absolute crap out of them in the goriest way you can imagine. This is something the old movie didn't have. The animated movie, that did have a lot of gore in it, but again followed a very, very, very similar storyline to the original 95 film. Which isn't a bad thing, because it works in the context of Mortal Kombat, so I was quite happy with that. Now, this reboot changes the story quite a lot. Now, is that for good or bad? Now, everybody's going to have a different opinion, but obviously I'm just going to share what my personal opinion of the movie was. Now, I've played the games a lot. I love Mortal Kombat. Growing up, I was always the Mortal Kombat rather than the Street Fighter. I had the original on the Mega Drive back in the day, and it was just awesome. I used to love that game. And I've played most of them going forward. Even Mortal Kombat 11, I still play that now. I really enjoy it. Now, this film has a lot in common with Mortal Kombat 11 in the sense of it has that gore standard that the game has. But for me, I didn't like how the story was. So, obviously they're going to follow the same path of Mortal Kombat's coming, and it's a tournament, and Outworld have won 9 in a row, so if they win the 10th one, they can overtake Earthrealm. It's a tried and tested Mortal Kombat formula, and it's one of them, if it ain't broke, don't fix it sort of things. But in the new one, they decide that what's going to happen is they're on the 9th one, but then Shang Tsung isn't going to lose this time because he wants to take over. So what happens is he uses his forces to try and sort of gain advantage, really. He's a bit sly in it. So when we first start seeing fight scenes, a lot of them take place in the real world rather than the tournament, which, yeah, it's not bad. You know what I mean? It's nice to see sort of these little different locales on which they fight in. But then, just overall, I don't know. There's just something about it that didn't quite gel with me. So the film opens with a bit of a history between Hanzo, who has become Scorpion, and Bihan, who eventually becomes known as Sub-Zero. And it's quite a cool sequence. I know that sequence has been put online as the opening has. And it is worth watching. It's a really cool sequence, and the fight scenes in it are really good, and it sort of showcases what the movie's going for. And then it takes a turn, and then we're introduced to sort of the modern day characters. And the main character in this time is a new character called Cole Young. He's introduced into this movie. He hasn't been in any of the games before. He's a character designed for the movie. And I didn't like that about him. For me personally, I think they should have just kept some of the iconic characters, stuck to the formula, and sort of done a story centered around the characters that everybody loves, rather than introducing this new character and trying to put a different spin on things. As you see from the trailers, a lot of the characters have these markings. So Cole has a marking on it, and if you have the mark, that means that you can be entered for Mortal Kombat. If you don't have a mark, then you can't go Mortal Kombat. Now it's a new thing for this movie that they've introduced, and for me, I just feel it's unnecessary. I think it should be just the strongest fighters should be able to fight, rather than just handpicked from this weird mark. That didn't work for me. And then we meet some of the other characters in it, and there's quite a few characters that they introduce into it, so it is nice. There's a lot of fan service in it as well, where they introduce like little snippets of characters, which is kind of nice because you see that they're trying to build a bit of a franchise out of it. But for me, I'm hoping that the things will get better. That's not saying it's a bad movie. It just wasn't a great Mortal Kombat movie. Now, the visuals in it are quite good. They go to quite a few locations and everything. So we see a lot of different locations, and some of the special effects are really good. Some of them are not so good, but some of them are good. And all like the visuals are quite good. Fight scenes, some of them are choreographed quite well, some of them not so well. So as the story goes along, at the beginning we're introduced to quite a few characters, so you see quite a few characters. It mainly focuses on the new guy Cole Young, Sonya Blade, and Kano. Jax is introduced a little bit too, so you see him sort of at the beginning, then he returns later. But Kano, when he's introduced into it, Kano's brilliant. Kano's just a highlight of this film. He is just so damn funny. The dude that plays Kano is just brilliant. They couldn't get anybody better to do it. He just adds the comedy factor to it, and to be honest with you, it's worth watching just for him because he's just really, really funny in it. And then as it goes along, you're introduced to sort of a few more characters. He keeps passing through to Outworld, and you see some of the bad guys in it, or as this film dubs them the bad guys. And then as we get through to the middle, it's about the main group of characters searching for Raiden's temple, in the hope that he can help them to sort of to win and show them what Mortal Kombat is. Now this bit in the middle just dragged for me a lot. They spend about 10 minutes just walking through a desert, which I just thought was unnecessary. And then they get to Raiden's temple, and there's a bit of a training thing, where in this one they introduced the idea that if you have the Mortal Kombat mark, that's what gives you your inner power. So when you see all the Mortal Kombat characters, when they're fighting and everything, and they all have the powers, like Liu Kang has his fireballs and stuff like that, the only reason he has that is because he has a mark, which I just didn't get. And this middle training montage sort of idea shows the newer characters of like Cole and everybody trying to find their inner power and to find out what their power is and to sort of be able to control it. Otherwise, obviously, they don't stand a chance in Mortal Kombat. Now, this bit for me just I didn't like it. And then when sort of Cole eventually discovers what his inner power is, it's just, I don't know. I'm not going to sort of spoil what it is for you guys. It's just watch it. But for me, I just thought it was a bit of a letdown, to be fair. He's built up to be like the one, and he's the dude that is the turning point in this tournament. He's the one that's going to stop Shang Tsung and his army of gaining power in this one to stop Outworld invading. And when they showed his power, I was just, really? That's it? You guys might feel differently, but for me, I just didn't get it. Now, then as it sort of goes past this bit and we get to the end of it, It just feels like the filmmakers were just like, yeah, we spent too much time on storytelling. All the exposition's out the way. Let's just beat the crap out of each other. So that's what they do at the end. And the fight scenes at the end are really good. And it's worth getting through just to see the fight scenes because they absolutely just ruin each other. And the gore in it's really good. And the fight scenes are awesome. In like Kung Lao's victory is very reminiscent of how Kung Lao wins in the games. Okay, he uses his hat in very, very interesting ways. But I'll leave that one with you. But it's worth watching. But then, like, as we get to the end and you see all the fighting, and that's when it all goes. And if you've seen the trailer, you'll see the bit where there's a lot of focus on Scorpion and Sub-Zero and the fight that they have, and this all sort of it builds up to that. But overall, yeah, it's all right. It's worth a watch. No any of this good, or even this good, but it's all right. I'll end up buying it when it comes out. I'll probably hope for a 4K, and I'll see what the transfer for that is like. But for this one, yeah, on the streaming side of it, give it a watch, guys. Overall, but some of the actors in it, now the characters in it, Sub-Zero is one of my favourite Mortal Kombat characters, as well as Liu Kang. Now in this, Sub-Zero is amazing. Joe Taslim absolutely kills his role as Sub-Zero. He is just perfect. It's like this dude was born to play Sub-Zero, I'm telling you. He is brilliant in the role. And it is worth just seeing how just cool he is as Sub-Zero. Now, some of the fight scenes with him in are really good, and how he incorporates his powers into his fight scenes is really, really good. It seems like he's like one of the bigger focuses of it, which is good because as an actor he's awesome. But then, like, say for me, my other favourite character is Liu Kang. Now, in this film, Liu Kang let me down. He just wasn't that great. I just felt he was a bit whiny in it, and just never seemed to just convey what Liu Kang is. Liu Kang's just, he knows, man, he's a strong fighter. He knows he's a good fighter. In every iteration of him, he always sort of puts that across. He knows he's good, and in this one, it's just, I don't know. I didn't like Liu Kang in this. But that's how it is. A lot of the trailers focus on like Scorpion and Sub-Zero in it. Again, I was a little disappointed that Scorpion doesn't come into it until the end. And the way he come into it, I just felt that was a little bit pushed as well. Don't get me wrong, Scorpion was cool and he was really good. And the bit in the trailers when you see him sort of throw his spear at Sub-Zero and he's like, "Get over here!" Yeah, that was cool because it was fan service, and it's like, yeah, oh, he said his line, no voice was that. But that's the only English Scorpion can speak, and I was a bit like, what? This dude, when you meet him in the intro, he can only speak Japanese. Then when he's fighting Sub-Zero at the end, he can only speak Japanese. But when he's throwing his spear, he can speak English. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's a language translator. Maybe that's what it is, I don't know. But yeah, there was a lot of things about this film that I didn't like, and I feel some of it was rushed. So overall, guys, yeah, it was alright. Worth a watch if you get a chance to watch it, just for, like I say, the action scenes, the gore in it. But the story itself, I didn't like the story, and the new additions I wasn't overly fond of. Hopefully somebody else out there enjoys it. If you do, guys, just drop me a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts if you've had the chance to see it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry it was not as positive as maybe some people expected it would be. But that's just my opinion of it. That's just how I felt about it. So if you did enjoy this video, please drop me a like, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram. And with that, guys, I'll catch you later.